to my channel. I'm sorry, I know I don't look the best right now. I am exhausted. I'll get to why later in this video, but it's been a while since I've uploaded. I just wanted to give you guys an update of what's going on in my life and what I've been up to in the past month or so, why I'm not uploading as frequently, and why I probably won't be for a while. I still want to keep this channel going, but it's not going to be as frequent or as regular as I would like it to be. So anyway, where I've been for the past month or so, my boyfriend and daughter and I went on a little vacation down to Texas. He's got family down there and he was making a plan to go visit them, and he asked if me and my daughter wanted to come with, and I have family down there as well. My older sister and her husband live down there, and I hadn't seen them in a while, so we just kind of made a thing of it, and we were down in Texas for 10 days total. We stayed with my sister and her husband for 3 days. We stayed with them over the weekend that we flew in there, and then we drove down to where his family was. It was a couple hours drive, but it wasn't too bad. It was nice to see my sister. I haven't seen her for 2 years. Kind of typical, I think, for families that don't live close together. But it was really nice to see her and her husband. I love them a lot. It's always a pleasure to see them. So it was really nice to spend some time with them and catch up with them and have them meet my boyfriend and all that. So we spent the remainder of our little vacation staying with his family. I've never done that before. I've never had like an extended stay with a boyfriend's family. I've only had like 2 other super serious relationships before this, and I wasn't super close with either of their families. So it was a nice opportunity to get to know them and everything and spend time with them. And it was really nice. I like where they live because they like live on a little hill, like away from other people. And I think that I would like that someday. So that was nice. And they have a pool and stuff, so we all spent a lot of time swimming, and I got so sunburned. I haven't seen that much sun in like years, so I know I look pale right now, but trust me, I did get a tan. So I got pretty badly sunburnt, like to the point where it was blistering. So that was fun. Also, we went to Schlitterbahn. I haven't been to a water park in a long time, so that was fun. We made a day of it and waited in line for like literally 2 hours for one water slide. So that part wasn't all that fun, and my daughter was not too thrilled about that. But aside from that, the rest of the day down there was pretty fun. We also went to the Riverwalk in San Antonio, and I have actually been there before. I was really little. My mom said that I was like my daughter's age. I was like 6 when me and my family went to the Riverwalk, so that was kind of cool that I got to go back and see it, and then also my daughter got to see it as well. We did that with his family too, so we all drove down to downtown San Antonio and spent some time at the Riverwalk, so that was nice. And it was overall just a nice change of scenery. I'm not a huge fan of Texas, like no offense to anybody that lives there, but like I don't like cities. I don't like how everything's so spread out. Like I like things being small and condensed and all that. I'm not a city girl. I've never have been, never will be. I will never live in the city. I don't want anything to do with it. So it's one of the reasons why I don't like Texas all that much. Also, it's just hot all the time. I've lived up north for a total of like 8 to 10 years, so I'm used to the change of the seasons, and overall I'm just more comfortable in the colder environments. I don't like being hot. But I mean, aside from that, it was a nice change of scenery. It was nice to not have to really do anything. I could just forget about my responsibilities for 10 days and just relax and spend some quality time with my boyfriend and his family, and of course my daughter. I'm really glad that we went. I'm really glad that he invited me to go. This was like the first ever trip I've ever taken with a boyfriend. I think it went well. He kind of mentioned before we left that you know, the first big trip is like one of the first tests of a new relationship. And I'm glad that we went. When we got back, I was ready to deal with real life again. You know, sometimes all it takes is a change of scenery, and when you get back home, you feel better, and you can focus on the things that you need to get done. Aside from that, kind of like a side note, we did fly down to Texas, and I am not a good flyer. The first time I ever flew was when I was 15, and since then I've been flying about once a year. Some years I fly more, some years I fly less, but it's like every time that I go to get on a plane, I just get more and more anxious about it. Like, the whole event of flying, just like everything that goes into it stresses me out, and I'm already a really stressed out and anxious person. This just exacerbates it. Like, I hate having to stand in line and check in, and security stresses me out. Like, I always feel like I'm in such a rush, and I'm, you know, I don't want to get in the way of other people who might be late to their flights or whatever, so I'm trying to go as fast as I can, and I'm freaking out that I'm gonna be late for my flight, even though I never am. I've never missed a flight or anything, but I can feel the tension in the air and just the stresses of everybody around me and my own stress. So it, like, just being in the airport stresses me out, and that, like, we haven't even gone to the plane yet. The actual act of flying in an airplane now freaks me out so bad. I don't like long flights, and even these flights weren't long. Like, they were both less than 4 hours, which I guess does beat driving all the way across the country, but I hate flying. I know, like, statistically I'm safer in an airplane than I would ever be in my car, but that doesn't help calm me down at all. Flying to Texas, it wasn't too bad. I ended up having my first ever, like, alcoholic drink on a flight, because I was like, you know, I wanted to try it, and I knew that would kind of chill me out, and it did, so that was nice. But the flight back from Texas was the worst flying experience I've ever had, and it wasn't because, like, the flight was rough, like, we weren't in any danger. It was just because I was so in my head and in my feelings, and my anxiety was so bad that it was like the worst experience I've ever had flying. So for starters, we were on a really small plane. It was 2-seaters. It was a 2-seater plane, so there were only 2 seats on each side, and I'm claustrophobic, so that didn't help. I don't like flying in small planes. I would prefer to fly in the bigger planes, because then it doesn't really feel like I'm on an airplane. But we were also near the back of the plane, and where me and my daughter were seated, we were, like, right next to the wing. And I don't like that either. I feel better and less, like, claustrophobic when I have seats in the front of the plane. So I was already very anxious before the plane even took off, and this was the first time that I had, like, a legitimate panic attack on an airplane while flying. As we were, you know, taking off and everything, I just started crying. This flight was like just under 4 hours, so it was a really long time in my mind. We were like 45 minutes into the flight, and that's just when the panic set in, when my anxiety was super high. The whole time I was just thinking, I want to be done, I want to be off of this plane, like, I don't want to be on here anymore, but there's nowhere to go, like, I'm stuck until we land, and I was just kind of like feeding myself these thoughts and just allowing myself to freak myself out. At the beginning of the flight, I wasn't doing a whole lot to actually calm myself down. I was just very much in my anxious state, and I wasn't really able to calm myself down. And also, when I was visiting my sister, she told me, like, this absolutely terrifying airplane story about one of the times that she flew, and basically they were, like, way up in the air, and all of a sudden they just started doing a freaking nosedive. Like, the plane was like this, and, like, she told me that the scene was like everybody on the plane was, like, they had to put their hands on the seat in front of them because that's how far forward the plane was tipped. And they just did a freaking nosedive for like, I don't know, like a couple seconds, and nobody knew what was going on. So of course I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh my god, what if that happens while we're flying? And then I'm just like in my mind, like just expecting the plane to start freaking nosediving or just start like shaking or something. Like, I don't even know, but I was just expecting all these horrible things to happen. So I know that that greatly contributed to my anxiety. I've never felt this during a panic attack. Like, this was the first time I have felt this, but like I genuinely felt like I couldn't breathe. Like, it wasn't even like a pressure on my chest. It didn't feel like my throat was closing, but like it literally felt like there wasn't enough oxygen in the plane. And I was just expecting at any moment for those oxygen masks to just drop down because I was convinced that we were losing oxygen. I really could not breathe, and I've never experienced that during a panic attack before. I had like 2 of them. There were some instances in the flight that I was able to calm myself down. I did bring a book with, so I read that for a little bit, and I did kind of start dozing off here and there, but then the plane would make a noise or it would just slightly move or something. I could, you know, and then I would wake up and then just start feeling all anxious again. So it was like almost 4 hours of just pure like terror and panic and anxiety, and it was pretty insane, and there really wasn't any merit to it. Like, the flight overall was very smooth, and I think that just in my heightened state, like I was just hyper aware of everything that was going on. So anytime the plane would slightly move or we would hit like a little bit of turbulence, I would start freaking out because, you know, again, that's the state that I'm in, that something's gonna happen. So anytime there's like this little minuscule thing that would happen with the plane, I would start freaking out. I've been on flights with like really bad turbulence. I've flown into Denver multiple times, flown over mountain ranges and stuff, and like those were bad turbulence. Like, I know what that feels like. This flight was very, very smooth. Like, in retrospect, it really was a smooth flight. I was just too panicked to acknowledge that, I guess. So I've come to the conclusion that I just can't fly anymore. I am too like panicky and anxious to be able to fly. I mean, just the feeling of being confined and like being in this space that I deem dangerous, even though I know it's not. I just can't handle it. I can't fly anymore. And I don't plan on it. So hopefully I won't. I really hope there won't be any other circumstances where I have to fly somewhere. If I do, I would literally need to be sedated. Like, I would need to go to the doctor and like get Xanax or whatever and just take some during the flight and just pass out, because that is the only way that I would be able to fly again. So again, to reiterate, there was nothing wrong with the flight. The flight itself was fine. I am just so neurotic and anxious and panicky that I can't handle that. So after we got back, I was exhausted. I mean, we all were. Our flight left at 6 in the morning and we had to get up at 3. We got back to town like before 10 in the morning. So it was nice to get there, to get it out of the way right away in the morning. So we had the rest of the day to just relax and stuff. And I do have to say, coming back to my house after being away from it for 10 days, I mean, it really felt like home. It felt really good to come here. And for those of you who don't know, I've only been living here for like 3 months. So being away from it for 10 days and then coming back, it really did feel like home, and I do feel a lot more comfortable and homey here. And that post-flight nap that I took in my bed was like the best sleep I have like ever gotten. It was just so nice and restful and peaceful to just be in my own bed and wake up in my own house and everything, so that was nice. So after that, it was time to get ready for school. I am in school right now. I'm in my 3rd year of college, and my daughter's in 1st grade. So I had to get everything ready for that. I want to do a separate video on kind of what I've been experiencing going back to college. I took a semester off between me graduating from my community college and now I'm at a university. And it's been rough, but there's reasons why it's been really rough. It's only been a week and a half, but yeah, I want to do kind of a separate video on that because I feel like this one's getting kind of long, and I have a lot to say about my experience starting up school again at a different school in a different town and all that stuff. So I have a lot to say about that, so I'm going to do that in a separate video. But that is the reason why I will not be uploading as frequently. I will do my best in the free time that I have. If I get any, I will do my best to try to get videos up and stuff, but you know, school comes first, and I want a good GPA. So thank you for taking the time to listen to my little life update. Sorry my life isn't too terribly interesting or exciting, but I just wanted to get on here and let you guys know where the heck I've been. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.